Back to another week, another edition of the Tenacious Turtle Tussle number 20. I'm of course Iosup VIP, and with me I'm joined by these amazing players, by the people in the chat, and by my plushies as well. Welcome everyone, welcome to another Cranky Duckling event. Again, this is an open tournament, so welcome one and all. It is a little bit more a NA-centric time zone as opposed to Sparkling Tuna Cup. We're here with the 20th edition, and we are jumping to our first series of the night. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the purple Zerg player representing Team LTK, License to Kill. It is EON. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the pink Zerg player here in the ZvZ. We have Iosup. Iosup, let's go. Let us go. But good morning everyone, good morning. I apologize for the abrupt start. I just kind of dove in. The brackets are now live, of course. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the bracket yourselves. Best of luck with the bracket overall and with your predictions as well. If you're in the chat, predictions are now open. Place your bets on who you believe will claim the series. Whew. As there is a lot to go over. Again, plenty of players. Once again though, 2 games in a row, we are actually missing some of the more notable, more regular Korean players. Last night we took note that we were missing players like Byeon, missing players like Shin, Trap, and Nightmare. They were MIA. This morning as well, they signed up but they did not check in. So this time, this Tenacious Turtle Tussle is going to be a lot more NA-centric. We have Estrella, we have Trigger, we have EON from Costa Rica as well. We have, of course, many competitors from all around the world. We have Geralt, of course, from Poland, from Europe. So all the regions are coming together. We still have some Korean representation, don't get me wrong. We still have Honmono, we still have Rebellion. We still have plenty of players, but yeah. This is going to be an interesting one, an interesting way to start things off. And again, we'll go over the bracket itself after the series. For now, we're settling in. The turtle is beautiful. Settling in. Bit of a later GLHF, but it's fine for now. Hatch gas pool, standard openers, we are just droning up, saturating our bases. Everything so far is looking as it should. So far, so good. Also, before I get too ahead of myself, a massive shout out to Stegosaurus. A shout out to Proto Stegosaurus in the chat. For those that are unaware, typically our prize pool is around 150 USD, but we have had a very passionate fan, very passionate person in the chat that has been contributing to the prize pool, Proto Stegosaurus. Because of Proto Stegosaurus, we have been having 300 USD prize pools instead, double the prize pool, but this week it's something different, something special. 400 USD prize pool. Oh my god, Proto Stegosaurus, calm down, Bobby. Base Proto, exactly. So thank you so much for the additional boosted prize pool. If you guys want to contribute yourself, exclamation mark Matcherino in the chat, and you will get a link to the Matcherino page. You will get a link to help support this event, to help support the prize pool. Again, big shout out to Stegosaurus. Likewise, shout out to IC Dave Testa in the chat as well. Big shout out. Senor Dave, and everyone else as well, of course. I believe, as we're getting into a link flood, but I believe a big reason as to why the prize pool is a little bit larger this week and Stegosaurus is feeling a little bit more generous is because, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think there's an Iosup Cup this week. I believe we're still sorting out the NA show matches. I think that is still getting underway, but I believe the season, the initial round of Iosup Cups has come to an end, at least for the time being. Yeah, at least for the time being. Meanwhile, we do have Lings moving out across the map, but EON is going to be able to get us surrounded. The third base is going to fall, and Iosup, he's still not quite ready. No safety. Bailings! Bailings, a word delay. The third base is going to go down. Massive pickoff. And EON from here, he can just back the hell off, build up back at home. Now, EON did delay his own Bailey Nest timing, so he is working with purely Lings here to defend. He is vulnerable, and Iosup may just commit to a 2-base all-in. Roach production has begun. Bailings are massing up. Iosup, he is not yet making any workers. Does have an Evo chamber on the way. That's going to be for upgrades. He has not fully saturated. There we go. Gases are now being taken. Oh, Bailing is going to get baited out. Not ideal here for Iosup. You can see EON, he wants to bait out another. Does attempt to. Roaches have arrived, and Iosup is droning. He's going to be moving out across the map, but he's not all in. He's not committed. He's hoping to force an overreaction. Back at home, EON is massing up his own roaches. Roaches are on the way. One of them does get surrounded. Not bad. At the same time, EON going for a counterattack. Ooh. But a Bailey was left back at home. Iosup, he is defending, he does hold, it doesn't get much done across the map, but he's droning, right? He has been droning the entire time, he's slowly trying to get into a longer kind of game state. I say that EON still has the greater economy, still is up in workers, and soon to be up in roaches as well. Iosup, he has to back up, has to defend, third base soon to be up and running, is being retaken. And from here, there's no real pressure on EON. Sure, he can move out, and he is, don't get me wrong. He's once again looking to deny the third, but he doesn't need to. He could just chill, back up, drone up, get further ahead. EON getting a little bit greedy, wants to try and force another cancel. Engaging with the main army. The Bailings, oh no! Bailings, they will connect. Lings, they get annihilated. The Roach battle is going to be a close one. We have a comparable Roach count. Reinforcements are on the way, defender's advantage. And Iosup will take the fight. We'll clean up these roaches. Not bad. And can counterattack from here. Iosup moving out. Saves the third base. Again, EON did overextend. He had no reason to be here. He was being a little bit cheeky, a little bit greedy. Trying to force a cancel. Alas, he was punished. Behind this building up roaches. Iosup has been able to catch up in the worker count. Oh, but does not have enough roaches. Mainly going to be a Ling-based army. Can he get the surround? Gonna try it too. There's only the one Ravager. While will connect. Not quite. Never mind. Not enough to lock down the army. Yeah, EON, he breaks through, cleans up all the Lings, gets on top of the roaches. And Iosup barely did not have enough. Not enough to while to punish. Roaches getting caught out. Fire will graze the army. But last this time it was Iosup's turn to overextend. We'll have to back off. Is still recovering. I see droning up. Getting to +1 range. Do have the lair. Roach speed has yet to begin. Unfortunately for Iosup, EON has been mining more for longer, so he still has the better economy. As a result, that's reflected in the upgrades, reflected in the main army. Right now, the pressure is on Iosup to come back in some way. Either go for a Ling counterattack, a Bailing run by, getting into a mineral line. Oh, there's a bit of miscontrol. It does target down his own Ravager. That was not intentional. Yeah, you can see here, he had it queued up, injecting. And looks like he may have accidentally clicked on the Ravager as well. Ah. So unfortunate there for Iosup. Is the iOS up? Maybe. Maybe. Aye. As from here, both armies are quite comparable with each other. +2 has begun for EON. There's going to be a 2-1 timing where he has a massive double upgrade lead. But until those upgrades kick in, the upgrades will even up here with +1. +1 about to finish up here for the Pink Zerg. And he can try to move out with that. Ideally, I also wants EON to overdrone and to oversaturate. EON has not taken his gases yet. Still staying on a lower drone count. Spire is on the way. EON is pushing. Upgrades are even. Meanwhile, Lings, they do slip into the main. The Queens are in position. Let's go. Queens are ready. They defend the main. Going Iosup, he dives on the roaches. Nice stutter stepping. Good start to the fight. Takes down a good chunk of roaches. EON has to back up. Does have to retreat. Iosup with the larger roach army. Let's go. Can try to break EON. EON, bearing in mind he is investing elsewhere, spending money on upgrades, spending money on the Spire. Iosup can try to break through. And he's going to try and brute force his way in. And no Ravagers behind this, just purely Roach. Barely not enough though. With the defender's advantage, without any Ravagers, EON he will hold. Forces back the army, and what's scary is the longer this goes on, the better it's going to be for EON. The 2-1 upgrades. The upgrades are about to kick in. The Spire also finishing up as well. Iosup, he was able to build up a comparable Roach army, that's true, but that's all he really had. Now here come the Mutas. The Mutas are on the way. Just 3 for the time being, not too many. There we go, getting a 4th Muta. Spine Crawlers being thrown down. And Iosup was unable to scout the main. He's unaware what's going on. Iosup? Oh, I'll take Iosup. Iosup? Yeah. Iosup. There we go. You just have arrived. Iosup. Oh god. Yeah, the mutas have made us. They've revealed themselves to the overlords. Bring them down. Going for the infestation bit. We don't really need to tech up like this, but I mean, sure, why not? And Iosup, he's all in. Iosup, goddamn it. But he's all in at this point, setting everything across the map. Just pure roach. Pushing into a concave. Better start to the fight for EON. Iosup has the greater numbers, though. He will slowly break through. I mean, mutas have arrived. They're going to be able to clean this up eventually. And with Defender's Advantage, EON, he should be able to reinforce. Has Spine Claws behind this as well. Yeah, this is all that the pink Zerg player had left. And it's not enough. Doesn't break through. Behind this is no Hydrogen, no Spire. Oh, my apologies. There is a Hydrogen. Can try to reinforce with Hydras, but spent all of his gas on more roaches. Oh, yeah, he never took the gases. Never took the gas at the third base, so undersaturated. Yeah, no gas to work with. The Queens are helping out, though. They're able to help support. As Iosup has been able to catch up in some of those upgrades. Pulling back with his Queens. EON likewise remaxing on those roaches. With the infestation bit, EON, he could try to mix in some infestors or just go into the hive. He has options. Oh, the first Ravagers of the game. Let's go. Ravagers are finally coming. EON, he can finally micro. And try to outmaneuver Iosup. Hydrogen also on the way. I mean, at this point, I would not be opposed to Iosup going into Lurkers. Like, now would be amazing to get into Lurker tech. He's noticed that there aren't really that many mutas, so a high Hydra count isn't actually too important here. So rushing into Lurkers would actually be a big advantage for the Pink Zerg, but alas, he's not quite doing so. Saturating his gases, getting a fourth base. Sticking with Roach, Ravager, Hydra. And I mentioned Lurkers for Iosup earlier, and Lurkers are now on the way for EON instead. So again, EON, he's taking up further. Has the infestation bit for Hive Tech, for the Lurker upgrades. To get the Viper Tech as well. So tech-wise, EON has just been one step ahead. Supplies is still comparable, so despite the tech, if Iosup is able to hit before Lurker production, before Lurkers really come into play, then the Pink Zerg player definitely has a chance. He's about to max out. He's maxed. Here we go. The mutas can't really add too much here to the fights, but they'll be there. Lurker production has begun. Full Lurkers on the way. Blast blowing up. Not quite connecting. Up! Getting an Overlord. Supply blocking EON. Let's go. Get supply block. Lurkers have arrived. But the Lurkers, yeah, they have made it in time. They will burrow. Hive is almost done as well. Miles going to be connecting. Iosup rotating around. Once again, though, time is in Eon's favor. The Lurkers less so, though. They're left behind. The Lurkers haven't rotated. They're not a part of the fight. Best case scenario here for Iosup. Just trading with Eon. More roaches on the way. There we go. Lurkers do reposition. Hive is done, but no lurker upgrades, and the hatchery's going to be going down. Up. Hatchery barely will fall. Iosup, he's holding his own. Gets an expansion. Rotating around. Still more lurkers on the way. And Iosup has not teched into a hive, no lurker den either. He's still just stuck on this lair tech army. It can still work. Does deny one lurker. Not bad. Gets another. The Wiles! 3 lurkers go down. Very nice big ups. Yeah, lurker count still not what it needs to be. Okay, 5 more lurkers on the way. Iosup pulling back. Again, if he can somehow position Eon, then maybe. Catching a couple of roaches. Not bad. A couple of roaches go down. Iosup rotating. Up. Files down almost one of the lurkers. Lurker range is now done. Jesus, it's mainly a Hydra-based army. Again, I'm not really too fond of the army composition of Iosup. It's mainly Hydra with Ravager. Again, Vipers would go a long way here with this. As he does try to rotate around lurkers. They are a little bit late to rotate. Wiles will connect. They get one lurker. There's still one more behind this. Ooh, and there is no detection. Yeah, lurkers are popping up, and Iosup's army just completely melts. Ay, ay, ay. That was not the fight to go for. Not like this. And Iosup's out of money. He's out of resources. Again, no saturation in the main. There's 2 patches left at the natural. Running out of resources here at the 3rd. You can see him transferring over. And Eon is maxed. He's about to max out. And Iosup, he had a comparable army size, but as you can see here, he didn't really have an economy to sustain it. And it wasn't very efficient of an army either. As now he's long distance mining. And again, Iosup, he was able to hold his own, but we mentioned before that he was pretty all in, and as time goes on, it's just been getting worse and worse for him. Just trying to move out once again. This time he's pushing into lurkers. A heavy lurker count as well. And Iosup getting zoned away. Eon pushing forward. Roach counterattack here towards the mineral lines. Drones are going down. And Eon can finally move out, this time with a more refined army. No Vipers yet, but Hydra, Roach, Ravager, Lurker should be more than enough. Getting position. Spine shots going up. Oh my god, massive damage here. GG gets called, and Eon will take game number 1. GG. GG, well played. We'll take the first game. But a shout out to Iosup because, again, he was able to hold his own for a time despite certain disparities or disadvantages. Was able to bounce back, was able to recover economically, get up to a 4-base economy. Unfortunately, if you remember, he was very late to take his gases and really late to tech as well. He was stuck on Hydra tech, which doesn't really scale well as the game progresses. Never invested into a hive or a lurker den or anything like that, so his army did kind of have an expiration date, if you will. Did have a time limit for how effective it could be. With that, GG. GG, well played. EON does take the first game, but I could see this going to the ace match. I want to believe. I want to believe that. So we are getting ready for game number 2. We go. ZvZ cannot have a later stage. Oh, clearly you've not experienced Lurker versus Lurker. That's, again, especially last year in the previous map pool, I'm talking about Gresvan, Ancient Cistern. We would cast very frequently some late game ZvZ with players like Dark, players like Serral, Shin, Scarlet. Some of those maps were a little bit more defendable. And you get into Lurker versus Lurker. I mean, initially it'd be Roach Ravager versus Roach Ravager, into Lurker versus Lurker, into Viper versus Viper, where you'd have like 12 Vipers for both players, each like abducting, parasitic bombing. It was all about that air control and the Viper tech. But it's been a while since we've really kind of embraced that. Has been a while. Thankfully. I mean, look, if I wanted to see siege lines of Lurkers versus Lurkers, I'd be casting a TVT, okay? I. We got enough of that in TVT. I'm good, I'm good. We'll stick with the roaches. Until then, we're jumping into game 2. Jumping into Golden Aura. Here we go, spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Golden Aura, we have our Costa Rican Zerg player, the Purple Zerg, representing Team License to Kill, leading the series 1-0. It is EON. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent, we have the pink Zerg player. It is Iosup. Again, is coming in as the underdog in this series, but there were definitely some nice moments for him in that previous game. He had his moments. Let's go. So we are getting our game underway. So far, hatch gas full, standard openers. Nothing too wild yet. Just going for our initial hatcheries. Into our Baneling Nest setup, into our third, I would imagine. If you recall, EON was the aggressor last game, and he was able to kill the third. He was able to snipe the third base, and if you recall, EON was just a little bit too greedy from there. I say greedy in the sense that he tried to deny the third for a second time, did move out with Roaches, he did overextend, lost his Roaches, didn't get the third base, and that led into more of a back and forth. Despite the initial lead that EON had, he wasn't able to hold on to it. Or it wasn't as large as it otherwise could have been. So I feel like once again the ball is in EON's court. See how he does approach it. For now, we are just going to be droning up. Just happily droning, soon to be taking a third base as well. So far, everything is normal. No 2-base Roach, no Link Flood, no 12 pool, no 13-12. Ah, standard pack. We're expanding. It's crazy. Both players taking their thirds. Iosup moving out with the Link Scouts. EON has avoided it, actually not making any Lings whatsoever. So greedy move here by EON, he skips his Lings. Is he punished for it? Up. Ooh, as the drone is not going to go down, just barely. EON with 2 HP. Drone barely survives, EON defends, now investing into his Lings. And behind this, Iosup going into his Baneling Nest. EON has the gas. No Baneling Nest yet. Interesting. Lings are amassing. Roach Warren on the way. Once again, EON is cutting corners. He's skipping banelings, just Ling flooding, going into Roaches behind it. And if he trades too poorly, he's going to be vulnerable to a Ling Bane counterattack. Oh, actually going for a delayed baneling nest. Okay, interesting. We'll see if EON can get away with it. For now, moving out across the map with Mass Ling. His goal here is once again to kill the third. Iosup did morph in defensive banelings back at home. Lings are on the way. And he does have the tools to defend. Banelings waddling in while the baneling's going to get sniped. With one baneling goes down. A decent connection. Takes down a handful of Lings. And with the help of Queens, Iosup should be able to hold on. I say that the base is getting low. Base is getting low, but Iosup will defend. He holds. Whew. Does barely hold on. Meanwhile, Roach production has begun. We spoke about it earlier, but again, early Roach Warren out of EON. Roaches are already amassing. Iosup likewise doing the same. Oh, Iosup has been droning, getting up to 37 workers, still droning up even more. Oh, he doesn't know. Now he does, but it's too late. Roaches are moving out. Iosup, he needs spine crawlers. Without spine crawlers, without roaches here and now, I don't know if he can hold. EON's all in. EON is going for a 1.5 base all in at this point. It's all or nothing. And Iosup, he's going to have to give up on the third base. From here, he backs up. Coming in for the... Hello! Coming in for the surround. Banelings pop up. Queen goes down, and EON, he avoids the third. He goes straight for the natural, straight for the kill. Banelings, massive connections. And there's almost nothing left. There's a handful of Lings, a handful of Roaches. Again, Iosup, he was a little bit too greedy, droned up too much, didn't realize what was going on, and did not have enough to defend. Nowhere near enough. As EON is snowballing out of control, GG gets called, and EON will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the next round. GG. Whew. Oh my god. GG, well played. Congratulations, EON will take the series, and a big shout out to Chileno Singaporean in the chat. Oh my god, papi. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Gracias. Thank you so much for subscribing and supporting for 43 months. That's a lot of months, papi. That's a lot of months of support. That's almost 4 years. You're almost there, papi. You're almost there. Long-time supporter of the channel. Thank you so much for subscribing with Twitch Prime. Gracias, papi. Gracias. Siempre, siempre. Thank you so much. And again, a shout out to EON. Does take the series, does advance on into the next round. Iosup had a closer back and forth in game 1. Here in game 2, unfortunately, Iosup, he was unable to scout, unable to confirm, didn't get eyes on the lack of saturation at the third, or lack of saturation at the natural either. By the time he realized what was going on, he had already overdroned. And he was unable to react in time with any spine crawlers. Iosup was caught with his pants down. GG, well played. GG, well played. And with that, we have our first series. We have our first series in the books. And we're going to be following EON into the quarterfinals. Here we go. If you're interested, exclamation mark, and be in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the back